Everyone, welcome to Watercolor Wednesday. I am Bonnie Krebs, creator of Watercolor the Art Impressions Way, and this week I'm back with another watercolor project. I'm going to show you how to put together this little scene. This is from the stamp set Garden Shed set, and I've done videos on these before, but always springy. So this time I'm going to show you how to change it up and create a little snowy scene with a warm sky in the background. So something a little bit different. And the great thing about this project is it only needs 2 stamps. So just 2, super easy to do. And I think you're gonna really have fun doing this project. So let's get started. We're gonna need a couple of things, and that is just a couple. So we're gonna need one of the garden sheds, and you can use either of these. So any of these are gonna work in this little scene. I'm using this one right here. And then in the branches set, you could also use any of these. I'm using this one right here in the middle. Okay, so let's get going. We're going to start out with our watercolor paper and ink up our basic image. And that is, of course, the little cabin. And we're going to use 2 colors with this, so the dark brown and the blue. And I'm going to just start out by inking this, this little shed. So if you notice on the original, we're going to put it in the snow, so we're going to kind of mound up the snow on the side here. So we want to leave part of this line off. The rest of the stamp we can add, but also on the roof. So you can see that this stamp has texture along the roof. We're going to leave that off, and we're just going to go around the edge. So this edge right here. So I'm just going to ink this up, kind of carefully go around this edge, and I'm starting with the dark brown. And remember, you're going to leave part of these lines off here on the side. We're going to mound this up in the snow. So we want to leave that off and then come down here to the front, and we can get all of this here. Okay, and now we're going to go back over it again with the blue. So the dark blue, and again, those same areas. Go back over that again. Come down, clear down to the front. And be sure not to get any of that area on top of the roof. We don't want to see that detail. Okay, I'm going to stamp it off now on another sheet of paper. And I can make sure that I've got it stamped exactly the way that or inked the way that I want it. So you can see that I've got this area of the little shed missing and the roof. That's exactly what we want. So now I'm going to stamp it onto my my actual watercolor paper. And that's exactly what we want. We want it to be a little bit lighter. We don't want it too dark. We don't want the lines too dark as it's kind of in a light snowy area. Okay, so I'm dipping my brush in water, and now I'm going on to my first step, which is always to pull the color out of the lines. And I'm just going to do that. Just drag this out along the bottom. That's going to be the darkest. I always start where I think it's the darkest, and that would be kind of along the eaves here. And remember to come alongside the line when you're doing these things, because what that does is it pops up this ridge. If you drag your brush along the line, you're just going to create a big thick line, and that's not what we want. We want to create something that's 3-dimensional. So come along the side, come alongside of the line, and that will pop this detail up. And just kind of work your way across. No stress. And then across the top. Okay, that looks pretty good. That's a good start. So let's go on from here, and we're going to add some color now to the door, and I'm going to do that from my palette. Dip my brush. Always dip your brush in water and take the color from your palette that way. And always start out with it lighter. You can always go back in and add more color. And it's just always a good idea to do that. And then I'm going to kind of really darken this little handle here. That really dark. And I can take some of this and just create some detail in here. Some lines in the door. like so. And let's add a little color now to these beams, and kind of on the window here. All right, I'm going to come back in now and add some blue in here. So I want to get some shadows in here. So this is that dark blue. And be careful when you, after I inked up that basic image, I've got some gray on here, so a little bit of that brown goes on here. So really kind of make sure that you get that off before you pull this color out. And that just happens. So on this side, I want to add a shadow under here and across here. And then in these windows, these are going to be dark in here. And add a little color, just color on here. You're always going to see shadows, and it's always better not to have everything bright white. And I'm just getting this really dark in here where the windows are. A little more in here where the door is. And then I'm going to now just come around the edge of the roof. Just kind of drag my brush around. And you can see that just kind of builds up the edge. And over here, just draw a line there and across the top. Don't stress out over that. Super easy. And then darken this under here. Okay, that looks pretty good. So now let's get some color into the background. And let's start out here on the front and just make a few little lines here like this, and just pull this color out. Doesn't have to be perfect. You're just giving the idea of the snow. And then this in here, we've got this little snowbank in here, and some lines back in here. And we kind of make this a little darker back in here. And a few more little lines in here. Okay? Don't overdo it. And let's go in now and do that sky. So usually when I am doing a snowy scene, I usually end up doing a cool sky, but it's kind of fun to mix it up. And it's good for me also to kind of break out of my mold a little bit. And so I'm mixing up some orange and yellow, and I'm just going to mix these together and get enough water on here so that you can really spread this sky, and just brush this on behind here. Dab back down in here and just brush this on. I think, you know, when people get in trouble with the sky, it's because they don't have enough water on their brush. And so you end up with a lot of dry brush strokes, and then you're trying to always blend it out. So if you start out by making sure that you have enough water on your brush, you're going to be a lot more successful, a lot less frustration. And don't let the sky go out too far to the side. So this could be an evening sky, or it could be a morning sky. Okay, that looks pretty good. You can see we've kind of created our roof by brushing in that sky. And I'm just going to come back under here again and make sure that underneath I have this dark area. Okay, that looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and put our detail in, and that is the little branches here. So I'm just going to cover up an area. This is my Post-it tape, which I love. And I'm just going to put a piece of tape over here. I want this branch to look like it's sitting down into the snow. So I'm going to ink it in a couple of colors here, so that dark brown and blue again. And you can see I don't need the whole thing. And I'm just going to stamp it one time. Kind of give us that dark branch, dead branch in the background kind of look. And then I'm going to do one more over here. Same thing here, and maybe I'll just do a few over the top. And that looks pretty good. So let's add a little shadow in here. And a shadow is just a few little brush strokes. Just like that. You could add some glitter to this. That would be so cute. And make it sparkle. Using my fine tip now and just darkening that area. And I'm coming in now with my fine tip on the blue. And anywhere that you think would be really, really dark, especially under these eaves, just go back in and darken that with your fine tip. It really, really adds a lot. Extra little detail. And I think we are about finished with this little project. I'm going to use my TwinTone little fine tip here and sign and date. And another project finished. 2 stamps, and super, super easy to do. I hope you try this project, and thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and I will see you all next week.